A few weeks ago, I interviewed the publishing and marketing, I guess you could say, guru, Jane Friedman. If you're not familiar, she has a great newsletter called The Bottom Line, that and a blog, I believe a blog of the same name. Anyway, I got featured in that in for when I published Writer's Digest. It was very helpful. She's a very cool woman. She's going to be giving a keynote at the upcoming Pacific Northwest Writers Conference. Anyway, so I interviewed her, and it was an interesting conversation, and I'll put a link to it in the description of this podcast. Uh, but it was interesting for a number of reasons. One specifically that we got to talking about. She does a lot of teaching, very in demand, because again, she really focuses on the business side of writing, the part of writing that really writers uh, aren't always that interested in, don't know that much about, and certainly aren't born knowing anything about. Like you aren't born knowing about the business side of publishing. If you've been living for a while, you are familiar with stories. You've heard stories, you've probably told stories, you've read stories. So stories are really baked into our consciousness, whether we understand them or not. But they really are, we're already familiar with them by the time we sit down to write. But the business side of it, maybe not so much. And so she gets into it, book proposals, particularly the nonfiction world, I think, finding comp titles, marketing, all that kind of stuff. And she gives a lot of classes on how to get published, something everybody wants to know. How do I do it? What's the secret? How do I do it? And so we got to talking, and I asked her, like, what's the biggest problem really that the students you work with, what comes up the most for you with these students? And to my sort of surprise, what she said was, and I'm paraphrasing, it's the emotional stuff. It's the feeling like they're not good enough, feeling like they don't have something significant to offer, wondering if they have any talent. Sound familiar? And I was so glad to hear her say that because, here's someone who is teaching all about the business side of writing, which is a much more sort of mechanical how-to kind of thing. And you got to learn how to do it. But she had come to recognize somewhat later on that the thing that was holding people up the most was still the emotional and psychological challenges that they face every time they sit down, which is why I do this podcast. It's why I do this podcast. Look, when you learn craft, you know it. It's really like your times tables. You learn it, you know it, and if you keep using it, you can't forget it. But confidence, which is really what she's talking about, confidence, you have to find it every time you sit down to write, every single time. And I think of it like it's your balance in a way. You have to find your balance with every single step you take. And the more walking you do, and the more walking you do on narrow platforms, say, or tight ropes, the better you get at it. But you got to find it with every step. It's not a point on the grid. And writing is a fantastic way of practicing confidence because confidence is not about other people telling you you're good. It's about understanding where expression comes from, and it's about accepting that your only job is to write something, create something that pleases you. That's really the source of your confidence. And when you accept that, and when that becomes your only goal, you have found your confidence because no one can answer the question, what's the story I want to tell, but me. And when I write just from that place, I am confident. I can't tell you what anybody else will think of it. I can't tell you whether it will succeed or not in the publishing world, but I'll know whether I've done what I wanted to do. And I am confident that if I can do that, I give myself the best chance to have the external success that we often associate with confidence. So, yeah, even Jane Friedman had to acknowledge, has come to, or recognizes the importance of these psychological, emotional, spiritual challenges. It's a daily practice, people. It's a daily practice. Every time you sit down to write, you are practicing caring about what you actually care about. You are practicing finding your inherent, natural, everyday confidence. This, you were born with it. You were born with it. You just lose track of it sometime, but it's there for you. So keep practicing and keep coming back to this channel. I try to help you practice to remind you. I need reminding. I hope you enjoy being reminded. Yeah. So if you like it, if you want to be reminded, hit subscribe. And if you enjoy it, say so. I want to hear from you. So until next week, this is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.